Hi guys, hi my lovelies, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Otsi. I create content on sewing tutorials and turban cap, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys on how I made this beautiful luxury bubu. It is very easy to make. I used 100% cotton Ankara fabric mixed with ashoke. So sit back, relax and enjoy the video. This is the fabric I'll be using for today's tutorial. With me here I have 100% cotton Ankara with ashoke. My fabric has been neatly folded into two. I have for the front and the back bodies, as you can see, and I place it on top of each other. This is my starting line. Neck width 4 inches, neck depth for the back 1 inch, neck depth for the front 8 inches. I use neck width 4 inches, neck depth for the back 1 inch, neck depth for the front 8 inches. Then I'll connect the necklines. For now, I connect only the back neckline, as you can see. Only the back neckline for now. From the neck width, I connect it to the neck depth of the back. I'll leave the front for now. From my center back to my sleeve length, I'm going to mark 19 inches. From that 19 inches, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches for my shoulder slope. Then I will connect it to the neck width. From the 1.5 inches, I'm going to measure 12 inches for my sleeve opening. From that 12 inches, I will also measure 19 inches in order for me to rule a straight line. From that line, I will come in by 1 inch. Then I will connect it back to the sleeve opening. I'll connect it to the top of the sleeve opening. This will give your sleeve a nice shape and it will be balanced. I cancel that first line. As you can see, when I'm cutting, I'll cut on the slanted line. From my shoulder to my hip line is 25 inches. At my hip line, I will impute my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 3 inches. That is how big I want it to be on my body. 3 inches is okay for me. The same measurement, I'm going to impute it at the hem part of the dress. Then I will connect that into a straight line. You can add 4 inches to your hip, depending on how big you want your boubou to be. I'm already on the big side, so I always like to work with 3 inches. I connected the hip line to the sleeve opening like so, as you can see. Then at that sharp corner, I'm going to measure 1 inch and curve that part. That part has to be curved. Now curve it like so. That's about it for the cutting, guys. As you can see, it is very easy. Before cutting it out, I'm going to add 1/2 inch seam allowance at the shoulder. Then I'll cut it out. For my pocket, I'm going to measure my waistline, and I'll come down 1 inch below my waistline and mark for my pockets. This is my waistline, 17 inches. Then I'm going to measure 1 inch downward. That is where my pocket opening will start from. Then I measure down 7 inches for my pocket opening. So I'm going to notch that part when I'm cutting it. So the next thing is to cut it out. I'm cutting the back neckline. The shoulder slope from the 1/2 inch seam allowance. The sleeve opening, the slanted line, then I will start cutting from the lower parts through to the upper parts. Then I will notch my pockets opening. I will remove the back bodies and continue with the front bodies. I have removed the back body, so this is the front bodies. From the 8 inches neck depth, I'm going to mark 2 inches. From that 8 inches neck depth, I'll mark 2 inches. I'll continue marking 2 inches straight down. Then I will connect the dotted lines into a straight line from the neck depth, I'm going to mark it straight down. I'll connect it straight down. Then from that 2 inches mark from the neck depth, I'm going to curve it to join the neck width. You can see the way I'm curving my hand. You curve it to join the neck width. You curve it nicely like so. Then I'm going to cut it out. I'm cutting it out on the line. I purposely did not fast forward it so that you guys can see it properly. Then the front has been splitted into 2. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to join the front and the back bodies together at the shoulder. This is the back body. From that center back, I'm going to notch it. This is important. Make sure that you notch it just a little. Then I'm going to place the right side of the front and the back bodies together and join them at the shoulder. Right side of the front and the back bodies, I'm going to place them together. Then I will take to my sewing machine. I'm going to join them with the 1/2 inch seam allowance that I added to the shoulder. I have joined them together at the shoulder, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do, from that center back where I notch, I'm going to measure the neckline. I'll start from that center back and measure on one side. I'm going to measure the neckline through to the front neckline down to the hem of the dress. I'm using tape that is up to 120 inches. Whatever measurements you get, please add extra 3 inches to it to be on the safe side. It is better to have excess and cut it out than to have shortage. So after measuring it from my center back to the lower part of the dress, what I have is 70 inches. So I'm going to cut out 73 inches into 2 places. This is the ashoke that I'll be using to beautify the front. The length of this ashoke is up to 92 inches. So I'm going to fold and cut out 70 inches plus extra 3 inches. So I'm going to cut out length 73 inches from my center back measurement to the hem of my dress, what I got was 70 inches, but I'm going to add extra 3 inches to it and cut out 73 inches to be on the safe side. So I folded my ashoke, as you can see, and the height of the band that I'm going to cut out is 3 inches. I actually want the height to be 2.5, but I'm going to cut out 3 inches because I'll be using half an inch to sew it to the front bodice. So I'm measuring 3 inches, then I'll cut it out. I'll be cutting this into 2 places. I'm folding again to cut out another one. After that, I'm going to iron interfacing at the back of the ashoke. At the wrong side of the ashoke, I'm going to iron soft interfacing. I've ironed the interfacing to it, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place them together. Then I'll take to my sewing machine. I'm going to join the 2 pieces together with half an inch to make it into a one long strip. I have joined the 2 pieces of ashoke together, as you can see, and I overlock the edges, and I have this into one long strip of ashoke. The part that I joined together is going to be my center back. As you can see, I have it into a long strip of ashoke. When you go to the market, there are some ashoke that is this length or even more than this length in the market. They have different ashoke that is exactly like the width and the length of what I just created, and they have it in plain color and multicolored. Next thing to do, place your tape measure at your center back like so, then measure through to the front neck depth where you want your opening to stop. Mine is 14.5 inches. 14.5 inches. Another way to measure is, remember that we use 8 inches for the neck depth for the front. So you will place your tape at the center back where we notch, then you will measure through to the front neck depth. Whatever you have, you will take note of the measurement. Mine is 14.5 inches. From my center back through to the neck depth of the front, mine is 14.5 inches. From the part that I join the ashoke together is my center back. So from that center back, I'm going to measure 14.5 inches. Another thing you will do, from that center back, you will place your tape measure at your center back and measure where you want your slit for the front opening to start from. Mine is 47 inches. From my center back, I'm going to measure 47 inches. Then I will mark that on the ashoke. After that, I'm going to find the midpoint of the ashoke and I'm going to rule that into a straight line. This is how I measure from my center back to where I want my slit for the front opening to start from. This is how I measured myself. If you have someone around, you can ask someone to measure for you, but this is how I measured myself. So mine is 47 inches. So the next thing to do, you will find the midpoint of the ashoke. Then you will mark it from the first mark to the second mark you made on the ashoke. That is from the neck depth mark to the slit opening mark. Then you connect that into a straight line. At the midpoint of the ashoke, on the mark, I'm going to rule a straight line like so. Let me go over the markings again. From my center back, I measured 14.5 inches for my neckline. Then from the center back again, I measured 47 inches for my slit opening for the front. Then I find the midpoint of the ashoke. From my neck depth, I find the midpoint of the ashoke. Then I rule that into a straight line to meet the 47 inches mark where my front slit will start from. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'll take to my sewing machine. On that straight line, I'm going to sew a straight stitch. I've sewn it. So the next thing to do, I'm going to turn the ashoke to the right side. Then after that, I'm going to take it to my ironing table and give it a good press with my steam iron. So what I'm doing right now, I'm checking it on me to see if it will need any adjustments. The neck depth is okay. I like the way it is on me. It's not too high and it's not too low. My cleavage is not showing. The slit opening as well is okay. It's not too high and it's not too low. So at this stage, before you sew it to your dress, you will check it. If you will like your neck depth to be lower, you can adjust it. You will just lose the stitch and bring it down a little. If you feel the neckline is too low, you can bring it up as well. The same thing with the slit as well. If you feel the slit is too high, you can reduce it, and if you feel the slit is too low, you can adjust it before sewing it to your dress, because once you sew it to your dress, there's no adjustment. You can't adjust it at all. If you want to adjust it, it will now require you to lose everything. You will lose the ashoke. So to avoid those stress, you will check the ashoke on yourself or on a mannequin to see the depth of the neckline and the slit opening, if it's okay. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to explain. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to sew the ashoke to the bodice. So I'm going to place the center back of the ashoke where we have the joining. I'm going to place it at the notch part of the back bodice. Then I'm going to pin it down. You can see the center back, the joining part of the ashoke. I'm going to pin it to the notch part of the back bodice. Then I'm going to take to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew the edges of the ashoke to the lapel. I'm going to start from the notch part at the back. I'll sew it through to the front neckline and to the lower part. You can first of all pin the ashoke down to the fabric before taking it to your sewing machine to sew. So I will take to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew the ashoke to the bodice. Then I will show us the next step to take. After sewing the ashoke to the bodice, please make sure that you overlock the edges to give your work a neat finishing. I've sewn it, as you can see, and I've given it a good press. I have cut out band height of 3 inches. The height is 3 inches and the length is my sleeve opening length. I'm going to place it like so at my sleeve opening. Then I will join it with 1/2 inch. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side of the sleeve opening. I'll place it like so and join it with 1/2 inch. After that, I'm going to sew the sides and hem the lower parts. That's about it for today's tutorial. This is the finished look, guys. We've come to an end of today's tutorial. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you've not done so. If you have any question regarding today's tutorial, feel free to drop your comments down below. I will reply you. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye.